Hello, Kathy Vic Deeply Awake. We have the desire to do a channel for you. The one before you has no idea. We are going to say only that it may be a longer one and that it of course will be beautiful. This is all a blank she is and able to disperse as a result of this mind sliding off of act and being able to simply listen and look at the mouth and go away. So we have talked from time to time about how this progression occurred within the consciousness of one, so that these beautiful inner truths could be touched, understood, integrated, and then realized in physical form. This is the idea behind what is going on here. It is one thing to simply understand the information, and we say the simple act of understanding changes the individual. For all time we say, and so it can be buried and fought against and all kinds of things. But once touched, well then, it changes things. And this is a beautiful thing because it touches on the expansion-contraction model that we've given. That with a new thought, with new expansiveness in ideas, and we would say this translates into permissions. The Bashar talks about permission slips, that many things can be seen as permission slips. An author's work, a friend's revelation, many things. And when a permission can be granted within for a new thought, or better yet, a new behavior, well, is that okay that a human being may need such a thing? Well, of course it is, or it wouldn't be there. So, at times, yes, each other's permission, when one sees a person behaving in a way that is preferred. Have we not said, when a resonance is felt for a way of being, way of expressing a new preference which had not even been considered previously. Oh, there's a shock in the system. There is an expansion. And you can see the contraction is simply a turning back and looking in the mirror and saying, well, what fits and what doesn't, and trying on again the things which then can be seen as a bit restrictive, constrictive, and unpleasant. This is one way that it works. So there is much talk that can be obtained about spiritual attainment, achievement. We don't like that too much. Too competitive. Permission slips. We would like to see humanity all resting on big piles of permission slips, which perhaps can just be seen as a pass for the day. Like when you go to the zoo because it's free, because you are a citizen of that city, and you show the driver license, and then you are ushered in. You don't pay no money. You just have a little piece of paper or card that allows free passage, like that. And in that case, well, isn't that nice? Free of charge and simple as that. Why, look at this. I'm in a garden of delight. Yes, of course, I've got to leave in a little bit, but my gosh, it's quite beautiful. And I see things with my eyes I've never seen before. And I feel a piece of happiness resting inside of my bones when I see all of this pretty and I realize this is all natural. It just happened this way. And I didn't even ever know it was existing. And now I know more than before. Well, if this can happen at a garden or a museum even, why can it not happen inside of your head with thoughts? So this is the idea. Permission, and maybe it's just a day. Maybe it's just a couple hours. Oh, and during that time, here it feels better. Sure do. This is how this one began. And we say the light quotient was very obvious. Long periods of depression and just the old stuff. And a hit of light is what she would call it, yes? But part of her understood. The more I'm there, the more I'm there. And it became important to seek out the gateways that would lead into gardens. And these gardens were described very lovingly, as was at times the sadnesses and troubles which led to the understanding. How the understanding feels. What the entity expects to have happen now that they know this. This is the essay work to a great degree. Simply leaving the breadcrumbs is what we kept saying. Leave the breadcrumbs. Come back if you need to. Revisit. Reread. Remember. This is what we talked about, anchoring. It's important to anchor things that are big. Shifts that feel good. How do you anchor? You take a moment out and realize what's happened. That's how you anchor. Perhaps you close your eyes. Perhaps you even sway a little bit. You smile. You breathe deeply. You feel it. You realize that you are real, and right now, this moment is real too. And we say oftentimes, especially with someone with a poor memory like this one, and we say this is not an aberration, there's a new way of organizing information, and so it appears a bit disorganized. It's not, but it's not strictly linear. Well, keep anchoring, and that mind becomes quite coherent and obvious, becomes quite plain. What's really going on? But we say, each and every day there is expansion. Each and every day it is available. It's a beautiful thing to watch. an individual bloom. It has much to do with allowance of the blossom, simple noticing of it. It's a good place to start. And so, it is true, each is going through changes, yes. Each and all. We have been echoing the last few times. This is on time, it is by agreement, and it is good, not bad. Although you know, of course, when there are changes, there are things that go away and things that present. Isn't this the nature of change? And yet, we take you to a place where everything is available. At all times, everything. Any experience, any feeling, any experience available. If that becomes the case, how does one choose? Isn't that the question? Isn't that a vital question to the concept of reality construction? If everything is available to you, looking around and seeing what you have, well, look well at how relaxed you feel, and seek you the knowledge of your body, how it breathes, how it feels, if it sings, if it cries. This requires a bit of emotional mobility, and this requires an individual sees emotions as not only real but valid. Emotional reality is fluid, constantly. Well, we like to say that the emotions are the aroma coming from the meal you serve self, arising from the beliefs you hold, the things that you anticipate, the things you know to be false and true. If this is the case, however, does it not come into awareness that change must be introduced somehow to this kind of system? But how? If it is completely self-generated, my goodness, how does anyone ever change? And this is where we go to the place which is metaphysical. Some say spiritual, divine, higher. There are many ways of saying it. We have talked of it as a web, sure, as a grid, as a soup. Many metaphors over the year talking about what one experiences being based somewhat on where one holds one consciousness. But we would like to introduce a new thought. It's not so much the idea of a team coming in and asserting themselves and giving you lessons and giving you little treats of synchronicity and lining things up and making the nudges of the others so that they call or whatever. It's not quite like that. Have we talked to you? Yes, we believe we have, about dream time. Thinking of this dream time as a nightly excursion into quantum reality, which is a fine place to meet as entities with Ma, as family, to think over and to be prepared for what comes next in physical reality. Imagine such a thing, because it is easy for some to believe, well, okay, there is a meeting that goes on, and I decide as a soul how things are going to go down in my life, and I have a big vision and I'm helped, and it's a big deal, and then I come down and I am in a diaper and then things happen, and I have guidance if I think it's real, and if I don't, well, then I bump around a lot until I figure it out. But there's something more. There is a reality which, of course, when you're wide awake, this Merkaba that you ride around in, sure, it's influential. And we would say, because it is quantum, it has little to do with the physical or visible field. It is, at a certain point, it is much more like the web than it is pod of energy and light. And when we say influential, well then yes, highly. So, with this we say that no matter where a person is in their consciousness, no matter what kind of decisions they make, which may be counterintuitive or self-defeating, repetitively self-defeating or whatever, it's fine, because there's always this connection to the other side. It's made fresh every time there is sleep. The body is not so fragile that it can't manage if there are disruptions in sleep or issues with sleep. And sleep is poorly understood by humans, we say. But it is a portal to communion and to assistance. Now, if this is the case, and that's at night time, then what happens when you wake up? Well, this electromagnetic biochemical wash captures. Yes. And it's so immediate, so real, so engaging. And the belief, of course, that sleep is something that is done for physical rejuvenation or is a bother. Well, it could be used a little more effectively if it could be seen, perhaps a bit more magically. Isn't that funny? Yes, we say it is. So, perhaps this is all we need to say today. It is enjoyable for us to come and spread interesting and beautiful thoughts in front of our viewers, to give them things to ponder and consider. But more important is love which is shared and, we say, transmitted and felt. There's nothing that is better than that. Yes, it may be hard, and there may be conflicts, and there may be arguments, and there may be setbacks. Oh, yes. And for this one, there are things that happen because of procrastination. Oh, she deals with it every day. But she holds her own hand now and sees it for what it is. It is pattern behavior. And she's beginning to have some ideas about how to break these things. And we say it's so cute because they are little things. But they do so cloud the mind at times. We say each have these koans. So we end by talking about koan cracking. It is a term this one uses for these problems or questions which bang in her brain sometimes. And we say sometimes they bang in her brain because we are doing the banging. So, thoughts that come that you may not be able to even regulate, which are confounding, perhaps confusing, but pique the interest and feel more genuine. Could it be this is a harbinger of change? Humanity is not built to stay in one set consciousness for an entire lifetime. Not at this time of shift. Not at this time of shift. And although it was a preferred modality for moving around in reality at one time, no longer is it even advantageous to be unable or unwilling to consider new things. Skepticism, well, we would say, skepticism is this, prove it. And discernment is, let me try this on, see how it feels. And there's a difference there. Subtle, perhaps. But such things as these are subtle by nature, as is the human being. And it is in the recognition of your purity of being that can be of great assistance. Thinking on the purity of childhood. It's a good place to start with that wonder, that awe, that openness for discovery and exploration. Imagining oneself safe, not really understanding about death, not applying it to a game of treasure hunt. These big thoughts, well, they don't apply. It is a game, and it's fun, and it's done because it's fun. Why else? So, it is a part of lightening up. It is high stakes here as long as the stakes are high. it really does taking a step back. Yes, of course, embracing one's mortality, well, that's helpful. That's very helpful. Without removing that deep, dark fear of dying and having it all be over. And when all the high stake stuff gets taken care of, well, the entity can breathe a little easier. But yes, if everything is so permanent and life-threatening, this is what we say about the lower agreement field. There's a whole lot of things to be afraid of. And what happens with a little bit of perspective, it's realizing that you're pretty safe. And even if the very worst calamity falls upon you and your body crinkles up and dies, well, there's probably a reason for that. And okay, that's the end of that story. Time to start a new one, like that. Once that mortality can be crushed through a little bit, it helps. This one had about a 2-year time of imagining herself in a cancer turban and thinking about the various diseases she was bound to get, and how inconvenient she would be to the unfortunate individual asked to assist her at her time of death. Yes, that was her thinking. Oh, so sad. Oh, so permanently sad. But pushing through it, realizing, yes, well, I suppose in the end there may be a better way. And if this does happen, well, so be it. Yes, it is not something that the average Joe perhaps can do quite so like that, but we say it was over time, and this one had much access to death walking, being a hospice nurse and being allowed into people's process. Of course, this would quicken her own, of course, and it would only quicken her own because she was able to hold it already, coming to conscious awareness of it. Well, do you see the blooming, the blossoming? It's beautiful. It's done with willingness. So we see the light flicker. It's very interesting. We look for it anomaly. We're not too worried. You may feel we are here. It's evident. It is an energy that this one can feel coming off of her like shimmers on the highway in the desert. Thick, beautiful, surprising, and emanating such acceptance. It's beautiful to be within the sensation of it. We say this is not a bad way to spend a Saturday evening. We go see the Sammy now. We get to hug and love on the Sammy. We're looking forward to it so much. Sweet baby. So, yes. So we go have fun. We hope that you are being happy and supported today, and that you are supporting self with thoughts that are a little uplifting maybe that make you giggle. There's nothing wrong with having a giggle. Keep that in mind. There's nothing wrong with a little bit of joy, little bit of pleasure, little bit, especially where there was none before. Oh, that's a good thing. It's a little bit of light that wasn't on the path before. Yay. Good. Good. So, yes, we go and have a bit of fun and spread our love and joy. And we wish you the greatest love and joy in this day and in all days. Namaste.